Hello, my name is Stephen Hill. I am a solutions consultant here at PlanView. I wanted to thank you for allowing me the opportunity to show how PlanView is bringing both PPM and collaborative work management together. What we'd like to start off here is, what I typically like to start off here is really what that end result, that end state might look like. What makes this solution so valuable is it really gives our customers a number of different options to have. Number one, either being a single source of truth, right? So having a way that we can really standardize on a single way, for instance, of adding a project or managing projects. It also gives us the visibility into all the things that we are currently doing today. So again, we really like to start that conversation of thinking about, what that end state might look like. So as we look at this overview dashboard, our executive dashboard, we can start to think about things like capturing that demand that is coming through our organization, and where is that demand in the governance model? Is it in the request for review for scoping? Is it in the steering committee? Those types of information is really at our fingertips to decide where in that roadmap, where in that governance model that those projects sit. More importantly, do we even have the right resources or the number of resources available to take on that demand that's coming through that pipeline? And once those projects get greenlit and we've assigned resources and budgets and funding to it, now we can start more the execution layer, and we can start to think about things like, are we working on the right mix of projects? So in this example, I could see that we have about 70% of the projects that are in flight right now that are really more aligned to that strategic work, as opposed to, let's say, 9% that's more aligned to that keep the lights on, really that maintenance work. And really, does that mixture make sense? We might also think about things like project health. And a great thing about this dashboard, and really any of the dashboards that we'll highlight today, is that you have the ability to go and really get that next layer of information with one click access. So if I want to think about things like, what are my top, let's say, 15 pet projects, I really understand why two of these projects that we're looking at right now are red from a health perspective. And by drilling into that, I could see that here's my project, my ERP upgrade project. I might want to take a look at some of the issues or some of the risks that may be causing, in this case, this project to be red. And with all that information, it's easily accessible at my fingertips. I can go and make some course corrections, maybe reach out to the project owner, in this case, Christian Davis, and really get an understanding of, why are these issues causing this to be red? Let's go ahead and let's help solve these business problems and hopefully get this project into green. We might also take a look at things like, are we spending the right amount of resources, both people and both funding and time, into the right applications across our organization? And finally, we get our first glimpse at our portfolio hierarchy. So again, I might want to take a look at, how are my projects that are rolling up into my HR portfolio doing? How are my finance projects doing? So on and so forth. And I can get just a really quick snapshot into the health of those projects. Are they on time? How are they doing from a budget standpoint? And from a health perspective, where am I seeing some traction? So next we'll pivot into really the first report that we saw in that overview dashboard, that how are we capturing the demand and where is it on the governance model. We have the ability within our solution, within our Innotas solution, to really get that next level of granularity into how are we capturing the demand that's coming in through our organization, and more importantly, how are we ranking, how are we scoring, how are we really prioritizing that work that's coming into our organization to really decide on what is the most low risk and high value work that's going to provide us the most value across our organization. So as I look here to the bottom left, I can see here are all the projects that are in our pipeline. And I can quickly drill into, for instance, this Innotas implementation. I know that Snigdha here is our business sponsor, and it's currently sitting in the steering committee for approval. And I can drill in here to get some additional information. Somebody had filled out a request form and filled out the necessary information. All the information that you can see here from a field perspective is a highly configurable information. So we're really allowing you, the customer, to capture that data as it makes sense for your organization. And more importantly, you have the ability to go ahead and score that request. So it's really taken that collaborative approach to ranking and really making sure that we're, as an organization, taking on the most high priority work, as opposed to just one single executive coming in there and saying, hey, this is my project. It's high enough in priority. I'm going to go ahead and push this through. This takes more of that collaborative approach to make sure that, again, we're aligning the most high value, low risk work across our organization. And I can see here in the top left here, this is more of a graphical indication of the scoring model exercise that we just went through. Again, we want to focus here on the top right and really focus on that, again, that low risk, high value projects. Again, this is our low hanging fruit, so to speak, as far as project that's coming in through the pipeline. We might also want to take a look at, do we have these low risk, high value projects? I know that some of these are going to require a really heavy burden on developers. Do we even have enough resources from a developer standpoint to take on this new work? And I can see right here that we do not. So we're going to have some conversations ahead of time saying, hey, maybe we need to hire some contractors, or maybe we need to delay some of these projects that are coming through the pipeline. And finally, do we even have from a funding mechanism? Do we have any funds in our budget to go ahead and take on this new project work? So in this scenario, we went through the process of ranking and scoring this project, and we're going to decide to take on this new project. So I can quickly view my projects in a quick portfolio view. The event planning initiative, that it's kind of an all hands on deck initiative to make sure that we're hitting our biggest vendor conference, and it has a lot of eyes and ears across the organization, and this really needs to go as seamlessly as possible. So I can see that as part of this event planning, we have some basic detail information like who the project owner is, Krista Medeiros, the description, what's the key objective or key accomplishments or next steps across this particular project. But now let's go and start to look at what one of the main differentiators in the Innotas solution is really our ability to have a top-down view into our resource planning. And what I mean by that is we need to go ahead and staff this particular project. I know that this project, we've already got some business analysts and some developers, and it looks like a project manager assigned to this project. I also need an architect as well. So I could see right out of the gate that my architect role is really over allocated until really August of this year. So we've got some concerns on our hands. Let's take a deeper look. I know I need an architect for this role anyway. Let's take a look. Let's go ahead and staff for this particular role. And just as I thought, it looks like Ellie and Margaret here are really causing, from an architect standpoint, our role to be over allocated. I can quickly hover over Ellie's time slots here in March and April and get a better indicator of the hours that are currently being overbooked. But I know that, because it's such a high priority initiative, again, it's got all hands on deck. The CIO is involved in this project. I need my best architect, in this case, Ellie, on this project. With one-click access, I can drill into all the projects that Ellie is currently assigned to, her resources assigned across those projects, and really, because this information is in real time, it's obviously accurate because it's entered in by Ellie from her time reports. I can start to have those conversations with project managers and managers alike that are running these projects to say, hey, I need Ellie on this particular project. Can we either hire additional contractors to take on this new project work, or can we just assign some of this other projects to, say, Snigdha here, who has probably a little bit more availability than Ellie? I'll go ahead and select Ellie for this project. But now that we've staffed our role for this project, we've staffed our team that's going to go ahead and work on this project, let's go ahead and start that execution layer. We'll scroll down real quick. We'll pick our collaboration template. We'll make sure that Projectplace controls our work breakdown structure, because we're now about to enter into our execution phase, and that we really want Projectplace as our execution layer. And we'll hit save, and we'll run that sync. So what that has done is created a project in Projectplace called Event Planning Campaign. I can see the different team members that I've assigned based on their roles that need to have access to this particular project. And a great thing about Projectplace is now we're obviously in our execution mindset, and it's really about transparency. It's really about work collaboration and getting work done in a very seamless and a very, again, transparent and efficient way. I can see from this homepage of this particular platform, I can see things like, what are my next upcoming milestones? Again, obviously, who are my team members, any overdue activities or tasks that we've assigned to those various team members across this project. And I can see upcoming activities that are on our schedule. Now, what makes Projectplace different than really any of the work management solutions out there, collaborative solutions out there, is a number of things. Most notably, our ability that we have integrated the tasks that are on our Kanban board with the schedule. And that's indicative of these little boxes that are on the timeline. So what we've done is, again, made that integration possible for a couple of reasons. Number one, it really gives you, the project manager, whoever's PM in this project, the ability to break down, in this case, our activity 2.2.2, look like we have to shoot a video for our webcast, really to break that down into multiple steps, into multiple chunks of work. And the second reason why we've done that is because now, as a project manager, I know that we're 3 days overdue on this activity, and we still have an outstanding task that needs to be done. So it really gives that project manager a in progress meter, or how are we progressing on, in this case, our customer webcast shoot. So now that I can take a look at my activity, and I know that this activity is 3 days overdue, and I have one task that's outstanding. I know it's assigned to Aramal. It's due on January 6th, so I know he's about a month or so late on this particular task. And I can start to understand, and really in this view, reach out to Aramal and say, hey, can you get this task complete by today? It's overdue. Do you need any help on it? That sort of thing. So again, Projectplace, this part of the execution platform is all about transparency. It's all about an easy to find, an easy way to navigate location to make sure everybody's up to date on their work. A great thing that we like to say about the ability within Projectplace, about the schedule, about the boards, in any way you want to interact with the service, it's all about ease of use. We've all gone through and used the @reference symbol to make a comment to somebody on Facebook or LinkedIn or whatever that social media tool that we use today. Same thing with Projectplace. The ability to, in this case, if I wanted to make a new timeline for my schedule, make a new timeline, and I have the ability to make particular comments in this timeline saying, hey, Aramal, I added this new timeline to our initiative. Does this make sense? Can we do this new activity on our schedule in the allotted time? So again, it really fosters that collaborative work and collaborative mindset. As you can see, as I mentioned earlier, the ability to integrate the tasks that are on our Kanban board with the schedule. So if I take a deeper look into our video production, here are my uncompleted cards, and I can drill straight into that card from this screen right here. And this is a Kanban board. I'm sure we've all seen and used Kanban boards in some capacity in a previous job or the job you're using now. You can have as many Kanban boards as you want for this particular project. It's all about ease of use. If I want to add a new task to this project, I can go ahead and assign that to myself or any member. I can, as I'm working on this task, I can associate hours. So I worked on this task for 3 hours today. All that information that is being entered at that task level here, from a time perspective, that's all being behind the scenes integrated and funneled into and rolled up into Innotas for a more accurate reporting from a financial perspective, from a resource perspective. Now, the idea that I've started this task, it's on deck. I'm literally going to take this task from one location to the next. As I'm working on it, there's a lot of collaboration happening. Hey, maybe I'm reaching out to my team members on help on this particular task, and I'm assigning hours as I go as well, until ultimately that task is done. As you can see, as I start working these tasks from workflow to station, from column to column, you'll notice that this gets the little boxes get filled in. Again, that's all about making sure that from a timeline perspective, we're hitting our due dates. The final thing I'll show you, what makes this a really all-in-one encompassing work management tool, is the ability to have a document repository. And why that's important is we hear from a lot of our customers that they like the idea that you can have this communication, you can schedule out your projects, but really we would love to have a tool that also brings in our tasks and certainly as our documents as well. A lot of times our customers have 3 or 4 of these tools in one place, but then they store their documents into SharePoint or Dropbox, whatever that might be. Within ProjectPlace, you have the ability to store all of your documents as it relates to this project, this event planning initiative, again, in context of this project. Again, so it's eliminate the need to go to 3 or 4 other different tools in order to, in this case, to house our particular documents. And you have the ability to do things like version control, send for review. So if I'm working on this particular document, I need to go up and edit it, make any changes, save it back into the system, very seamless, and it'll save this as version 5. I can also do things like I can review who's opened it and when as well. And from a compliance standpoint, I can also view anytime anybody's checked out this document, made edits, things like of that nature. So now that we've gone and we've executed all the work, we've assigned, we've notated the time that we've worked on particular tasks. All that information, as we mentioned, gets rolled up back into Innotas. Let's go take a look at some of those reports that are generated. We're back in our event planning initiative project where we started in Innotas, and now we can do things like look at project dashboard. So it creates a nice slick dashboard on the overall health of this project. Again, that was started in ProjectPlace, executed in a very collaborative way in ProjectPlace. And more importantly, we have the ability to publish this dashboard to the right audience. And what this does, it creates a unique URL. So meaning it's not searchable by the internet or browsed to it by Google. And you have the ability to publish this information to a schedule. So let's say this is this is a high priority event planning initiative. It's got a lot of eyes and ears on it. I know my boss wants to see this in his inbox at 8 a.m. every Monday. I go in there, enter his email address or whoever might need to see this report, view that information, and it's in their inbox very quickly, very easily. And again, the person that's on the other end of this does not require an Innotas license. They don't have to enter in a username and password in order to digest this and view the reports on this specific dashboard. So now that we've got a lot of these projects that are collaborative in nature, we need to start doing some making sure that these projects are aligned to really the strategic goals of our organization. And that's really the final thing we'll talk about today is really again, one of the main reasons why our customers love and select the Innotas platform is really our top-down approach to portfolio management. This screen right here, this view is really where we're creating our organization or reporting hierarchy. And really, the top-down approach really just means you're starting here at the top, and you're really defining your overall strategic goals and objectives of the organizations, and you're really building out these middle layers until we reach the bottom. And again, this is where we're tracking all those day-to-day activities in projects or tasks, for example. And what's important is that all of this data at the project level or the task level, that it all gets rolled up automatically. And that data can include project health. It can include the financial information that we entered in ProjectPlace from a time perspective. It can include project health as well. So if I view this portfolio, this is our collection of projects that are collaborative in nature that we've executed here in ProjectPlace. Here's our event planning initiative that we've just created and walked through. But here are the additional projects again that we've rolled into ProjectPlace as part of the integration. And finally, I can start to get a better look and say, I need to pull a dashboard across all the health of these projects. So again, I can start to think of things like a percentage to complete. I can start to look at my demand versus actuals and get a better snapshot of not only financial information, but the health of my resource pool. Thank you so much for your time today. Again, my name is Stephen Hill. I look forward to hopefully speaking with you on the phone and walking you through this solution.